That's all right.
All right, we're all good.
All right. We have any public communications or,
I do not have any, no,
I know we don't have any public hearings.
that is correct.
All right, approval of the minutes of February 22nd.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of February 22nd.
Second it.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, there's nobody left. New applications, none.
Correct.
And we have a pending application, the Durr driveway.
Right, so I see Ed is remote, is he going to?
Yes, Ed is going to speak.
All right, let me just go ahead and see if I can, there he is.
There he is.
All right, Dave's doing it, excellent.
I don't get him.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Good.
All right, excellent. So I know the last couple meetings, the applicant had asked to hold off on classifying the project until they had a chance to have soil sciences come back in and look at the wetlands. Is Joe there?
Yep, sure is.
Oh, all right, excellent. Joe Thoreau is there in the audience, and Ed Wenke's here, who's the engineer. So I'll let them take over from this point. But the hope is tonight that we'll be able to classify the project from here.
Muted, Ed.
Ed's muted.
Yep.
I like his setting though, I gotta tell
Pretty
you.
nice. Yeah, there you go. There you
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, last we left you, we had a little bit of a different design here. We had, can I share my screen?
Please, you should be able to.
Yep, I'm going to do that right now. Okay, can everybody see that?
Not me.
Nope, it's black, Ed.
It's black.
There.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so we colored this up. There's a couple things that happened. Number one, when we first were talking last time, you indicated that the site next door to the east had flagged wetlands on it from another application, and that we needed to plot those onto this drawing to show how the 100-foot upland review area would change. So we did that. I took the plans that David sent us and I digitized them onto this plan. So what you're looking at in green is the wetland flags by others. And what you're looking at in this tan color is the 100-foot upland review area. That's the new revised upland review area. Now, Joe Thoreau was also asked to go out, and I'm sure he'll speak to this, but he was asked to go out and take a look at the wetlands and reflag the wetlands that we originally were showing along our entire frontage. That was from another survey that was provided by from the owner of the property when we first started the project. And that was also part of the application we had sent you, because we were bringing our driveway down, if you remember, straight on down and crossing the supposed wetlands at that time. Now, Joe has gone out there and he's reflagged. He took a look at everything. And like I said, Joe will talk to this. But at the end of the day, we have an intermittent water course area right here that was flagged. The rest of the frontage was deemed to be non-regulated. It's not regulated wetland. So that has been done since we last spoke to you. We received a whole lot of comments from different agencies, and we have responded to all of those, one of which was from DOT. DOT wanted us to move the driveway to the west as far as possible to try to increase the sight distance to the driveway looking eastbound. We were originally at about 300 feet of sight distance. They were looking for us to get about 480 feet. The best we can do is 400 feet. This is about as far west as we can push this driveway. So I reconfigured the driveway, got the 400-foot increased sight distance, ran that by DOT. DOT is happy with that. They're good with it. We came back in, we regraded this driveway coming up to the house, and basically recalculated what we've got for disturbed areas in the upland review area. And that's shown right here, and I believe it's about 11,000 and change square feet. So those are the changes that we have done so far, and I've upgraded the drawings for Rev C drawings, show all of these changes. I've upgraded all the documents and engineering supporting reports to reflect all of these new numbers. Joe, do you want to talk about your findings out there in the field?
We just have a meeting from this. Just for sake,
Absolutely.
please. Thanks so much. Thank you very much.
We're old.
For the record, my name is Joseph Thoreau. I'm a consulting soil scientist. On February 22nd, like Ed mentioned, I went out and took a look at the I'm going to call it a trench for no better lack of terms, swale that runs along Elm Street South. What I did find was on the eastern portion of that property boundary, I found an intermittent water course which flows to the west. It enters that 24-inch concrete pipe shown on the plan. Because that intermittent water course has to do literally like a 90-degree turn to get into that pipe, what happens is some of the flows bypass that and they build up on the western end of what I delineated there. One of the other issues is I think.
Can you explain what you just said there a little bit more clearly, please? So where is it doing 90?
So what I found is that
It's a touch screen.
flows down this way,
Yeah.
turns 90 degrees and goes into that pipe. But what happens is normally during high flow situations, a lot of that water backs up to this point right here.
Okay. Backs up that way.
So
No.
the flows are coming this way.
Yep.
The stream turns and goes this way, but all that water can't get in that pipe at once.
I see.
So
Okay.
it'll back up. It may even back.
I
up,
got it.
you know,
Okay.
further, depending on the storm event.
So it doesn't go through the pipe.
Yeah, it goes through the pipe, but again, like when I was there the other day, there were a lot of sticks and debris in
Gotcha.
there, you know, kind of partially blocking it.
So is that wetland soil?
So yes, so in that
Well,
green portion there that I delineated,
yeah.
technically they are, it's an intermittent water course, but yes, it is also wetland soils in there. So the plan does need to be amended because it says no hydric soils in there. That's technically not correct.
Okay.
There are hydric wetland soils in there. Water
Sorry about
stays
that,
there
Joe.
long enough to change the characteristics of the soil to become wetland soils.
And just one more clarification. So this is technically not on the property of this application. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's correct. It's in the state
It's in the
right of
state
way
right
and
of
it's in front of an adjacent property.
Okay, that's right. And so, okay, got it.
Mhm.
And just one last question. So the little swirly white area to the right of it, as I'm looking at that picture. This bit.
That's a brush line.
Yeah, I know that's a brush line, but what does the wetland do? Can I ask what the wetland does there? Or?
Yeah, let me finish.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at the green area there, that's where the wetland technically terminates, the wetland or the water course
Can you point
terminates.
which green area? Sorry.
So we have wetland flag 4 and 5.
Yes,
That's where the wetland terminates.
Okay.
There are no hydric or wetland soils in the remainder.
Great.
What I did do is I investigated the remainder of the swale to the west along Route 215. I
Okay.
did approximately 8 or 10 different soil auger holes in there. And what I found were complete upland soil conditions. In fact, I'm going to submit a picture for you guys. Take a peek at it.
Mhm.
These are the soil conditions that I found within that swale. You look at the soil sample that's in my auger there,
Mhm.
you're gonna see very, very bright,
Mm,
high chroma soils, which are indicative of upland soils. In fact, if I were to I were to go upslope towards the proposed house and do auger holes, you'd probably see soil colors not much different than them. So again, I investigated the swale all the way to the east. To do due diligence, I even went onto the property further to the west in that swale, did a few holes, and I found no evidence of wetland soils in any way, shape, or form. So the only other thing that I needed to inspect for were the possibility that low swale could be defined as a water course. It is entirely possible to have a water course that flows through upland soils, and it's there not long enough to actually change soil colors, but technically it is still a water course and can be a regulated area. The first thing that we look for when we're trying to determine a wetland a water course is the definition of a water course by state statute. And there are several very specific parameters that we look at to define that. The first parameter is there a defined channel and bank? Channel and bank can either be formed by water flows, it can be man-made, but there has to be a channel, an obvious channel and a bank that can hold and transmit water. I did find that parameter to be fulfilled there because technically between the fill slope from Elm Street and the topography that meets it, there's a swale there. You can't, so technically that's the first parameter that needs to be met. Beyond that, there are three specific parameters that two of which need to be met for me to call this a water course. The first parameter is there needs to be evidence of scour by water flow or accumulations of detritus, sticks, leaves. Basically what we're looking here for is it's got to be some kind of flow to push material, sediments and things like that. I found no evidence of that. The second parameter is that the area in question, if there is water in it, it needs to be flooded for a duration longer than a given storm event. So if we have a storm that starts at noontime today and it ends at 6 o'clock, if there's water in that channel, swale, or whatever we're looking at for more than 6 hours afterwards, then we would technically classify that parameter. Because of the time of year and when I delineated it, I did not have that ability to make that call. But to be devil's advocate, I'm gonna make an argument that is entirely possible. I think that swale takes a lot of water from Elm Street, Route 215. And it's entirely possible, I think during a really, really significant storm event, that water course on the east end of the property could back up all the way up in there. It's entirely possible. One of the things on the other side of the argument that I see are those pictures in front of you. If you look at those soil colors, those are very well drained upland soils. So I'm gonna guess again that any water that does sit there probably infiltrates pretty darn fast. So I'm gonna guess probably not, but in order to be devil's advocate, I'm gonna say that parameter is fulfilled. The last parameter is whether or not there's hydric vegetation located in a given thing we're investigating. Again, no hydric vegetation. The only hydric vegetation I found were in the area that I delineated. I found some rushes and some sedges. But the idea again is if there's persistent wetness there long enough, then you're going to get skunk cabbage. You're going to get the water loving plants that need to have significant hydro periods to exist. So based on those findings, I technically can't classify that as a water course either. So I can entertain any other questions you guys might have about the wetlands.
So what is the distance from the edge of that wetland in that swale to where the proposed driveway is? Is that something?
That's not something I can
Is that?
tell you. Ed can probably scale it and give you an
You're
idea.
talking about
Yeah,
from the
Ed,
east
could
end of the
you-
water course? To
Yeah,
the-
the end of the wetland soils to the driveway entrance.
Well, right to the edge of the driveway from this point to this point.
Yes.
About 70 feet.
70 feet, okay.
That's correct. And like I said, we can't push it any further to the east. I'm sorry, that's to the west.
Awesome.
Do you have any other questions regarding the existing wetlands or anything I investigated?
Thank
So,
you.
so basically the revised application we put together for you, that page 2, we eliminated the actual request for filling a regulated wetland area. And then we modified the area of the upland review disturbance to 11,800 square foot. And that is the application we're asking you to consider. So we're no longer filling wetlands.
That's good news, Ed. Can I ask about the, I don't think maybe I did see it, but maybe my brain just wasn't engaged, but I don't think I fully appreciated how much of this house is in the upland review area. And I am wondering why you can't move that over to the area that's not upland review area.
Boy, didn't I know you were going to ask that question.
You
The
know me
house
well,
area-
Ed.
The house area location was dictated by the owner. And we had looked at a couple different locations, but what's driving the house location from his perspective is he was talking with his neighbors in the back, and they did not want him to be building on this side of the site because they didn't want him blocking their views and vistas going this way. So that's what was driving the house to the east into the upland review area, which, by the way, we didn't know was an upland review area before we modified this plan. Having said that, from an engineering standpoint, if we were to move this over here, I start catching the higher grades a lot quicker coming from Elm Street on up, which makes the driveway a lot steeper. So in order to alleviate that steepness, we'd have a whole lot more cutting and grading up in this area. And it could get a little dicey. I don't know that I'd actually be able to make 15% driveway grade, which is the maximum we're trying to hold at this point. Plus, we have this huge boulder pile that is not planned on being moved. So the driveway location is going to be where it's going to be. If we were to move the house over in this area, we've got a view vista problem, and then we also have a steeper driveway issue. So that's where the house is right now. And I did confirm that with the owner today. We talked through this, and he said, no, this is pretty much where him and all his neighbors agreed they want the house to be. Now, having said that, also, just to take that to the next level, if you're looking at the actual disturbance of this upland review area on our side, as you can see, we're at the very edge of it. We're about 75 feet, 74 and change feet from the edge of the deck to the closest part of this adjacent wetland. But if you look on this side of the site, you can see the entire site, the buildable envelope in that site is within that 100-foot upland review area. I don't know if you've entertained an actual development or approved an actual development proposal on this site, but any construction that's going to happen in here is going to be working within that upland review area way before it gets to us. So I guess the point of the argument is that whatever impact this location has on the upland review area is going to be nothing compared to the upland review disturbance on this lot when that comes to be. So that's something to point out to you.
Your point is certainly noted, but as you know, and we know so well, we're only supposed to look at the lines within the site that we're addressing. We're really, I mean, that's a big deal with all of this. You can never look at adjacent property. When that application for the adjacent site comes through, then that'll have to stand on its own.
Oh, there's no question about it, but I just wanted to point that out.
So again, so in terms of wetlands versus vistas, that probably doesn't hold a lot of weight for me in terms of wetland protection. And the driveway grades, I guess I would like to really see something that shows me that you can't at least make a little bit more of an effort to just, even if you just tip that house, because like you said, you're at 75 feet. If you even just tipped is that west? East?
Yeah.
East. If you tip that eastern portion of it and just kitty cornered, sorry. I mean, I just see a lot of possible creative maneuvering of the structure that wouldn't
Right.
impact driveway.
Are
Not
you
that I'm an
saying-
engineer.
No, I understand, but are you saying that, you're suggesting that we move the entire house out of the upland review area, or are you saying we kind of twist it to minimize or reduce the amount of that encroachment? Just so I'm clear.
Yeah, I think certainly the former would be amazing, but the latter might be satisfactory for me if I could at least, because I get the driveway part, but I just, you see what I'm saying?
I
Again.
understand exactly what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at this, oh no, it's not up there.
It's not the
But Deb's looking at it with me. And I mean, if this whole thing could just sort of shift like this, turn a little bit, then I think you're gonna take most of that house out of that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so this, what she's demonstrating is it's essentially at the same elevation on the site, but just tipped a bit to try to shift it out of the upland review area. It may not get all of it out. But you probably could get a bit more out.
Okay,
Like if I'm looking at the plan now, Ed, and it looks to me of that house, I'm just gonna say it looks like 2/3 of it is in the upland review area.
yeah.
And 1/3 of it is out of the upland review area.
Yeah.
Maybe switch that around so that 2/3 of it is out of the upland review area. And 1/3 is in,
Okay,
something like that. That's where, that's, I'm just, again, I'm just asking why that couldn't happen.
I will take that under advisement with the owner, and I don't know what was promised to the neighbors next door as far as the vistas are concerned, but you know, I understand where you're coming from. Wetlands more important than the vistas.
Yep.
So as if I can create some kind of magic revised layout here, and it's not gonna be that much magic, but to basically reduce this down, so I got 30% of the house in that area, 20% out of the area, that would be more palatable.
Wait, no. 30% and then
30.
60% out,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
60%. Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
60%. At least 60%. The more, the better.
Okay.
I know you can do it. I have great confidence.
Okay, no, I point is taken.
All right, I'll be quiet now.
Moving the house that direction looks like it's gonna impact that other driveway you have there.
The other driveway.
That's
You have a
not
driveway going up, isn't that a driveway?
No, those are utilities. We have no physical vehicular access from the northern part of this. Hence, that's
Okay.
why we gotta go down to Elm Street. Ideally, you'd love to get out to Campbell Road and call it a day, but this site does not have physical access to that. So
Yeah.
what we do have is we have utilities running up there, and we have an easement for that. So that's what you're looking at, Dave.
Okay, then that won't affect that.
No, that's, those are utilities. We can bend those all over the place.
We have other questions?
No.
No?
I mean, make a
Barbara, you
motion-
have any
oh,
questions?
sorry.
Does Campbell Road just end there? You could connect up to Campbell Road if
We don't have
following
deeded,
the
we
utilities.
don't have deeded rights to it.
What is, blue lines are not your property line?
No, the blue lines are our property line, but Campbell Road stops short of that. From what I understand on surveys, this right here is an actual private right of way that runs to access the lot up north,
Oh,
this lot right here. So we don't, by deed, we do not have access to Campbell Road. That
Oh,
was,
I
that was a whole issue way before we got involved with this. So yeah, the only frontage they've got for accessible frontage is on Elm Street.
And as a clarification for that point too, so the agency has been and you remember the patio application. Her house there where we went to do the site visit is actually where Campbell Road currently ends.
Yeah, that's what I thought, right across.
All right, other question?
A motion to classify the Durr driveway as minor.
Second,
Second, yeah. Discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, Barbara?
I,
Okay, minor.
Appreciate that. So the next step on this then is for us to revisit this house location and then come back to you at the next meeting.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And Ed, you and I can talk, just in terms of making sure that we have enough time before, that I'll be able to review it once you make the revisions. And any of the other parties that had some comments can review it in time for the next meeting, but we can chat about that.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
No worries. Joe, thanks a lot for showing up tonight. I appreciate that.
We didn't even hold it against you, Ed, that you're in a tropical place.
He's not in a truck.
You shouldn't hold it against me. You know, guys,
That's some background.
I spent
I
two
feel
whole,
better already.
I spent 2 whole sub-zero winters in Wisconsin. Where I live now beats all hell out of everything.
Oh, all right. I feel better already then.
Thanks for getting that out.
All right, thanks.
All right,
We all set?
next.
Thank you so
We're
much.
done.
Good talking, y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh. The Brown new home, 48 Prospect Street.
Let me just get the camera going here. Like that. So at the last meeting, we heard the application to remove the large tree that's out there and possibly reduce the upland, the non-disturbance area down to 25 feet. It was suggested by the agency members who were here that more detail needed to be added to the plan. There needed to be a planting scheme, having a wetland scientist or a soil scientist look at it and actually propose appropriate plantings would be a good idea. And so to that end, as you saw probably today, we just got it today, Jim Cowan has taken a look at it and made a proposal. But for right now, want to kind of walk them through it, and
Sure.
there we go. All right, I'm just gonna put the camera on.
Talk to this or talk over here?
Hang on.
probably come up here to show us maybe.
can you make it bigger?
Yeah, I'm looking to do that. Dave, can you do that? I don't remember which button it is.
Is Dave sick?
No, he's just not in town.
Oh.
Spotlight, right? There we go. Okay, so let me just zoom in a little bit.
Oh, man.
Well done, Deb.
Technology.
Amazing.
Great. Okay.
There we go. If we can get it a little tighter, that would be good. Okay, go to it.
Okay, so my name is Paul Lucier. I'm the builder at 49 Prospect Street. I think I've met you all before a year ago. And when we originally applied, gave us 40 feet of setback, which was, I thought, very generous. What we've now found is that the tree, which we were just talking about, is we none of us really noticed it when we were out there when we did the sidewalk originally, but that tree has a big wedge in the middle.
Yeah.
I think we had.
Right
photos.
down from the
Right.
bottom. I just looked at it today.
So we've had a couple of arborists out. Matter of fact, I was with one again out there today. Everyone, Jim Cowan, everyone agrees the tree should come down, but it should be cut off right at the surface of the ground, so we don't disturb the the wetland. Not to mention, I didn't realize that a tree will be to live even when you cut it down, go to the stump. So part of the, part of the reason why the trees are good for that area was because it was absorbing a lot of the water and
Yeah.
good for the wetland. So that will continue. And we're also proposing through Jim and I did a nice site walk out there last week. Then we came in and we talked with Deb. And Jim created this great plan of all these different plantings, and there's a lot of well, I'm learning a lot about things. I'm a home builder. I don't know much about wetlands, but I'm learning a lot. And but the a lot of rocks. But there's a lot of what they call phragmites all through here.
Yeah.
All through over in here, there's a lot of brush and heavy thickets of prickers and that type of stuff. I don't know exactly what they call all those things, but Jim has written a pretty detailed page, a couple pages of how we wanted us to deal with that. The idea would be to take the tree down. And the reason why we're asking for the 25 feet is there's a couple of trees that are here that are existing trees. They're just little trees, but he wants us to put an orange fence around those trees and protect them. They're about 15 to 20 feet tall now. And he feels like when that tree goes, these other trees will sort of take off. And I'll have plenty of water. And then if he puts all these different plantings down in here, and we go in and we kind of get rid of all those phragmites. And we were out there today with All Habitat Services. So they do a lot of treating of that type of thing. And they do it with a wetland friendly type of product that won't hurt the wetland. And as you can see with the rocks, we're trying to find a place to get rid of these rocks. So
Beautiful, actually.
they are, and the site was originally sort of the dumping ground of the neighborhood when they built that. So we've been dealing with that from the beginning, but we also had some ledge that we had to remove. We ended up with some nice big flat rocks. So basically it would just be a row of rocks, and we would make, the only place we really want the 25 feet is right in this area here. And then it kind of comes right back to the 40 feet that we're already approved for. So we felt like if we could come up with some sort of compromise that helped everybody and it maintained the wetland, that's what we were trying to accomplish with that. And so that's where we gives us a
Oh,
little,
yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
Let me
that's okay.
interrupt you.
it gives us a little more room to work around the back of the house with machines. We can grade things a little easier so that we don't have as quick. And this wall really is only going to be one rock tall. So these rocks, some of these rocks are pretty big, but 3 feet. It's going to be a really gentle wall. And the wall comes around, it kind of dies into the grade here, which allows, to maintain these plantings that Jim is suggesting that we put in. That's about it. I think that's.
So let me just get this straight. So the idea of the 25 feet is actually to accommodate the trees that are there? Or is it simply for the?
It's really more, it's more for the grading. It is, it's for the grading in the lawn. And
Yeah,
It's more for the lawn.
and it gives-
yeah, and I'm having trouble with that part of it. I thought the planning plan
Was
was
good.
fabulous. Yeah, there are wonderful choices and.
So
But-
right here, this is a really heavy area of phragmites. And that's the area that, and that's just below our current line. So we have a silt fence that wraps around at the 40.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And just on the other side of that, so that's gonna need to be dealt with one way or the other. And I mean, if we stayed at 25 feet, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, at 40 feet wouldn't be the end of the
Yeah.
world. But it would give us a little more
The
room.
fact you have phragmites has nothing to do with that wall.
Not
Zero.
really. Well,
I mean, that's gonna be dealt with by cutting them
right,
and painting the stems.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna dig them.
That has
We're gonna-
nothing to do with that.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct.
It's a pretty serious grade too.
It is, and that's why we were trying to push it back a little bit, so
Yeah.
we could grade a little slower too. Try.
Yeah.
And I thought, remind me, in the field, you were out there today,
Yeah.
Barbara. Wasn't there some sort of natural delineation out there, or is that another site I'm thinking of?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
It's right through here. There's basically almost a water course of its own that runs
Yeah.
right through there.
Right.
I remember having a lot of concern about that particular place where you're proposing the 25 feet.
Yep.
I'm not loving that.
Yeah,
That's
why we're asking.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of giving away that distance.
I guess I'm wondering if you went with a 40 foot, it would still be pretty much the same. Yes, the grading would change
A little.
a little bit. But otherwise, those rocks could also be used.
Absolutely.
Like just where you have silt.
One way or the other,
Right
we
now,
use the rock,
yeah.
yeah, right.
What's the distance from the corner of the house to the 40-foot line in that close,
Right here, it's
Yeah.
about 10 feet,
10 feet?
about 10 feet. So we don't really have a whole lot of space right through.
No. Very tight.
I'm thinking of, machines and stuff,
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
But we can deal with it. We'll
Yeah.
do the small machine, but we'll need to put a big machine in there to move those giant rocks. So that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how are you gonna get a big machine in there?
Well, we can get a
Because we
big
certainly
machine
don't
in.
bunch on the
We can
downside.
get a big machine in through here. We can reach pretty much everything we gotta reach, even with the 40.
And I think a lot of the boulders are up higher.
Yeah,
aren't
they're
they?
all, every one of them
You
are
know,
on
they're
on
further up.
the upland areas.
Yeah,
On the other side of the.
Yeah.
sides, Yeah. Yeah, we basically stockpiled all through this area.
yeah.
And, we hauled off a lot of rocks, and then at some point we said, we gotta stop hauling off rocks, maybe we
Yeah.
use these. So we stopped and we said, let's find out what we can do,
Yeah.
and then once we know what we can do,
Right.
do it, and then
Yeah.
we'll haul off whatever we don't.
So what do you think? You want to hold the 40 or you want to go to 35?
Well, I was thinking that's a nice compromise, because didn't we also have a letter from an adjacent property owner?
Oh, yeah, and she spoke actually. at
Tree
the-
getting cut down,
Right, yep.
so I'm.
That was last year, so
I
she
She's
came out
fine with
last
that.
week,
Yeah,
and she's now in favor of the tree.
yeah.
She just wants.
I didn't read anything recently.
So I don't think so, because I don't think I included, it was Cindy,
Yes.
Right, Fortner, thank you,
Yeah.
who spoke last time, and then at the end, she handed in what she essentially had read.
So that
I don't
was-
think I included that in your packet, but I will.
When we originally did, you're right, when we originally applied for this last year, they really didn't want us to cut the tree down. For
Yeah.
a lot of reasons, the absorption, the shade.
Yeah, they have some-
So there was, I agreed, and it's a good tree. Problem is, it's not a good tree.
No, it isn't. And I think she agreed with that. as
did,
I
she
remember.
did.
She,
but-
last week,
She
she
did.
was,
Yeah.
weeks ago, she said.
Concerned with the amount of plantings that you were going to do and whether or not they were appropriate. and
Yes.
More.
Right, and
So we
they're
had-
all native
Yeah,
plants
yeah,
that you. that-
We had basically gone to a gardening place.
Yeah,
They gave us their opinion. Now we went to Jim Cow. So now
Yes.
we've got a real soil scientist.
Yes.
What works there. And then we went to All Habitat, which now gives us, some real people that know what they're talking about with this. area.
yeah,
So I feel really confident.
I saw you're putting in 6-foot trees.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we have to be careful of that. I've had people say they're gonna put in trees and they put in something this big.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
You know,
You're putting
Exactly.
a twig, right?
First
Yeah.
winter, it's
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah, because, sure.
Yeah, so I think a good compromise here would be to hold the 40 feet and go ahead and cut the trees and do your planting.
Yeah.
Make the site
Okay.
more aesthetically
Cut
pleasing.
the tree down though. Go ahead and cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cut the tree, but keep the 40. Is
Okay. That's fine.
that what I'm hearing from you,
Yeah.
Barbara?
Yeah, just cut it off
Cut it.
a little above ground level
Yeah,
Mhm.
and,
I don't think we're gonna have much of a choice. It's giant stumps. So
Yeah.
what saw is gonna, once it gets into that space, it's a big, big, big trunk.
yeah,
these barbers have these 40-inch saws and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have my little still.
No, your little homeowner one's
I
not
mean, it's a
gonna.
really challenging site,
It's
and it
not
has
gonna
been,
I know that.
no, I was gonna say, you had to, because of the grade.
Oh, yeah.
and all the rocks and
Mhm.
the wetlands.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah,
Challenging site, no doubt.
but I agree, Eunice, that's what I would wanna not give up anymore of the buffer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not, you can tell based on the previous application, we're just not,
No,
uh,
understood.
we're trying to be balanced.
I totally understand. And 25,
Yeah.
I know 25 is pushing it.
It's
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so little. Awesome. Thanks for understanding. We need any motions about this?
So we do, but this just came in late this
Yeah.
afternoon, so I don't have a motion for you. So
Okay.
we will do
Yes.
that at the next meeting.
Okay,
Yep. Okay.
All right.
We can classify it.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
make a motion to classify it as a minor.
Second?
Any discussion? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Barbara,
I,
thank you.
So what do you need from me? You need me to have that revised back to 40 feet?
Exactly. Yep.
Leave the plantings where they are
Yeah,
and get that to you as soon as possible.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Do that.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, I had printed this out, but
I was almost gonna print it and then I was able to mag it on my computer so I could see what they were doing. So that was good.
oh. All right. I don't really have anything. It's almost a good time to go out. Run around town and check all the building sites and, I've been looking at a couple of them, but, I don't see anything too egregious going on.
Mm-mm. No, everybody looks
Well,
good.
welcome back, you two.
Yeah, that's.
How was it without us?
It was terrible. Wasn't
It's a lot of pressure, isn't
very
it?
raggedy.
It's
Yes.
yes, pressure. I know. I tried.
I couldn't remember people's names.
Oh,
you know. But that kind of sprung it on me. I didn't realize that both of you were gonna be gone. So
Oh,
it was all right.
fine. Annie said you did great.
That project behind me,
Oh,
they've taken a lot of the trees out of there.
oh,
Yep, Hein, that's
And
right.
they've got the road cut through now. and-
Yep.
yeah, I saw that.
They're on Allen Street.
It's a
Yep,
big
they've got
change to have a road on Allen on
One
that
building
side.
permit. Well, it's a driveway.
I know.
Yeah, they have one building permit, that's right, but they're also
Yeah.
installing the sewer from Pequot to that house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, we're out there.
I figured.
They're gonna bring the sewers into those 5 new houses?
Yeah, it will be on municipal sewer. The sewer is coming from Pequot. It's not coming off of Allen.
Boy, that'll make them really close to me now.
Oh, no, they're not extending it though. They're just tapping into the existing sewer in Pequot.
Ah,
Yeah, sorry.
all right.
So the only thing I have, I think you all have received an email with a Freedom of Information presentation. Just take a look at it when you can. It's good information. It's a good refresher. And it's geared towards commissions as opposed to staff. I mean, it's the basic stuff. Don't be texting during the meeting and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's a good refresher.
Yeah.
And Tom Hennick is an interesting speaker, so it's not,
Did you already send that?
yeah. Do you need it again?
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm not sure I have
I'm
it.
not sure I received that
I
either.
went out to all the land use commissions probably 3 weeks ago, but we'll send it again.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would be.
have it.
I
I don't remember.
It's not familiar to me, but
It'll come from Deb Schaffler, but
Oh,
yeah,
here's some
Thanks.
nice photos for your wall.
okay, we will do that.
thanks.
All right.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
See you, Barbara.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Nice.